Hello there, commanders, and welcome back to National Cup. We are now in round 4, first match and map of round 4. It is going to be a battle between China and Russia, and we are on Alpis Graya. That is the first time we see this map in this tournament, I think. Though it has been a while since I recorded some of the previous battles, so I may just not remember, but I think it is the first time we see Alpis Graya. Well, let's just see what both teams are up to. Russia, the red team, China, the blue team, and the Russian team is sending two players of infantry alongside some archers and elephants on top of the hill, going to try to capture D, fight for fight for the watchtower. China is matching its sort of with an equal force, actually a little bit more infantry, but no other special unit. They have repeating crossbows, which, well, it's not a very good matchup into the archers, although on tier 6 the repeating crossbows are quite tanky, so they can take on the archers if they know how. But well, that team isn't really present here, is it? Anyway, the Russian team is pushing towards E. Only 3 units from the Chinese team defending the area. Some glaives and swords being sent away from the hill towards E as they spot the Russian advance. Question is, will we be able to make it in time? The healing zone is all the way over back here, so it's quite a roundabout way. It's not being denied, but it could be very easily, but it doesn't really need to, as the Russians have the pike phalanx over here pushing already through one of the units, repeating crossbows helping to just deal the death faster. And now the Russians team are looking to start flanking the remaining units on top of the point very nicely, and at that point is going to definitely be captured by the Russians. There's really nothing the Chinese can do at this point. C unlocked in 1 minute, both teams putting one unit over there to start contesting it in case they need to. And now the Chinese team is trying to push here towards the A flank. Hannibal's spears have been caught out here in the open, surrounded by the Foxmen, but flanks cannot really be found. They did use determination already, but just by being surrounded they have been cut down quite heavily. Very few losses on the side of the Chinese team, so really nicely done. I actually see quite a lot of new names here on the Chinese team. And they have found a new pike player, which is very slowly pushing towards A. Let's see. Archers versus repeating crossbows over here. Oh, repeating crossbows are blobbed up, pressured by the enemy infantry. Yeah, that is definitely not going well for them. Well, they do have their own infantry pushing towards the archers, but that is not really going to achieve that much. The contest for C has already begun, even though the C hasn't unlocked yet. E has been captured already, which was accurately predicted by me. Oh, such analysis skills. Well, Russians have an elephant on top of C. They also have 2 units of infantry and more incoming. So the Chinese team chasing the elephant. I mean, it's okay, chase the elephant, chase him towards A and reinforce A, as the Russians have another elephant on top of A. The pikes are finally making through, and in typical Chinese fashion, no matter which pikeman player plays on the Chinese team, they will walk through their own units just to get to the enemy units. And well, it's not bad. It is absolutely the very best choice they can make in that regard. As you could see, the elephant went down very quickly, but there still is another one to deal with. They do have repeating crossbows over there. They are protected from the archers by this huge rock, so the archers cannot shoot them. So the repeating crossbows can just focus on the elephant that is now exposing its rear, the repeating crossbows, so it's almost taken down. The last one elephant is here still, so the pikemen need to take care of it. Let's see. You can do the pike phalanx, there we go, being used, the elephant avoiding it, but it will be forced to be pushed away. Or can it find a gap? Oh, the Chinese team, the pikes a little bit slow to react. Now they're adjusting their position. Repeating crossbows are going to make it easier by putting a lot of bolts in an elephant, slowing it down. There we go, elephant is out of the point. Now the Chinese team is contesting it. Elephant is making it back, charging through, suffering some damage for that. C obviously secured by the Russian team as they had a large force in there, and instead of trying to defend A, they have an elephant over here. They're making its way here as well with Hannibal spears, so they're banking. We can capture D faster than you can capture A. So that now is a contest between the two teams. China though managed to respawn 3 units of fresh swords over here on D. If they can make it out of the point, they will be able to hold it for quite a while. Let's see on A. The Russian team elephant is almost down. The spear unit is almost down as well. The archers are obviously in the area, but they are going to be chased away by another unit of Chinese infantry. Elephant is down. That unit was briefly routed. Only 25 men left. Another one find its way over here. So yeah, it's still being contested. D is also being contested. Multiple units of swords from the Chinese team that have respawned in there have managed to find their way sort of into the point. Maybe she's trying to prevent from getting flanked or overwhelmed, just trying to ration the units. But now Russian team is finding some flanks, only one flank down, not enough to rout him. And Chinese team is trying to find the same here. Russia is supported by the repeating crossbows, but the units respawning over here, the elephants have been respawned, some swords came to help, the pikes have been finally killed, and China is forced back. And now Russia controls all the points but D, and it's also quite close to capturing D. A lot of Chinese units have respawned over here as well. They don't control anything else, so that's really the only place they can spawn other than the base. Speaking of the base, they could respawn some here. They actually are recalling the units that were fighting over for A. They've managed to recall back. Now they will heal. That is 3 different players, and they will push on to E. The Russian team is... Why is this unit coming back? Maybe one of the units is dead. It's actually not. Okay, that's questionable, but okay. I actually heard unit is being still held on top of E. No, very interesting Russian tactics. But the Chinese team has regained control over on D. Well, almost, but is definitely going to do so. The pikes are going onto the left flank as well, sort of into the center, which is going through here. Pretty much faster, but whatever. Okay, the Chinese team is launching that counterattack with 9 units, triple Foxmen, triple swords, and triple repeating crossbows. The Russians have only only 3 units to protect. Also, one of the units was going to be lost just now, so yeah, there we go. That makes sense. Yep, so 4 units for the Russians, but the Chinese team are almost already on top of E. Now the Russians spotted, try to react to it, but there's really not much they can do unless they would be able to send some reinforcements very, very quickly. Well, they are just now regrouping on top of the hill as the Chinese team has pushed them back. But the Chinese team, see, they have like 5, 6 units over here, still trying to clear one up. And they have already pushed some of their units, some spear units, forward. And they've just been cut down alone. That was definitely not very coordinated by the Chinese team. And they're also sending some swords away. Foxmen to hold the watchtower. See this elephant incoming, for example, which was spotted by the regular units anyway. Trying to maybe contest C, but realizing, well, the Russian team has a huge push over here, so they could just turn around and collapse. So the Chinese team is now going to bank everything onto trying to capture E. It should go their way sooner or later, although the Russian team does have pikes pushing in, but they are being focused by the repeating crossbows. Repeating crossbows, though, will need to focus on that elephant soon enough. They need really to stop blobbing and split up, try to find multiple angles to attack this. Finally, there we go. They are splitting up. It is a tournament after all, so high time they start doing it. Foxmen, well, not really trying to interrupt the elephant. They're banking on the repeating crossbows being able to do them on their own. Scorch Earth being thrown, has been thrown. It's sort of fired very little. I don't know, sort of cancelled, sort of not. The repeating crossbows still haven't really put the work into killing that elephant. They're focusing the infantry over here actually, which is interesting. Not even the pikes. And the pikes have now attacked the Chinese pikes and dealt quite a lot of damage. 25% HP gone. So it is taking the Chinese team quite a while to recapture E, and D isn't looking that good for them either, as the Russian team has regrouped, and well, the Chinese push was all over the place, and now they're suffering the consequences. The healing zone can be denied at any point by the elephant if they so desire. At the moment it is not needed, so it's really nice to see that sort of adaptation, as other teams are sort of denying the healing zone as an arbitrary thing and not when it is actually needed. It is actually needed to be denied. So there we go. They're very nicely played by the Russian team, actually knowing and understanding the game mode. I really like to see that. The elephant is though presenting its behind to the enemy repeating crosses. Now it's going to turn, but the Chinese team is going to capture E. They need to go all the way back here to the healing zone, so this is going to take quite a while, as this is not very conveniently placed on this map on this flank. But there we go. E is going to be captured. Spears are already rushing. Well, they do need to rush though. Chinese team has only 400 points. The Russian team, as they finally capture D, are very well on their way to victory. 1,300 points, 200 points away from the victory, and with 6 points per second, that is going to be quite fast. You do the math. I'm not going to in the middle of a battle. Anyway, the Chinese team is pushing heavily to B. The Russian team is knows what's going on, so is reacting, sending pikes and spears towards B, try to prevent doing that, but maybe just a little bit too slow. There is one player dead on the Russian team, although it may not be that, as I've learned in the previous battle. Yeah, he is actually alive, he is on the battlefield. It's just not spotted by the Chinese team yet, so he still appears as dead here on the replay, even though we do have the fog of war lifted. But anyway, B is already captured halfway through, well, flipped halfway through. One of the spear units, cancelled the charge. Okay, respect the pike phalanx, and yeah, there was no pop-up of the pike phalanx being used over here, but maybe it's just a replay bug. Now only 1 or 2 units capping B, the other ones preventing the Russians from getting on. Pike phalanx is pike phalanx, so that's the only one thing that pike phalanx cannot push through, is the other pike phalanx, obviously. So sort of the unit being the best counter to itself. Speaking of counters, repeating crossbows, if the pike isn't in fine shade, is definitely going to work well. B has been captured. The elephants were coming in, but they're too slow, 15 seconds too slow. But the Russian team, after winning D, C also uncontested obviously, now they're collapsing and looking to just stop the Chinese advance in its strikes. Like the only way the Chinese team could have won that battle is obviously getting B and then trying to capture the base. I actually have a video that sort of shows that, but if the defending team is coordinated, they can just collapse it. Here they have the front line to hold them, stop their advance towards the base. They send a lot of other units to just surround the advancing units and cut them down very, very quickly. Yep, and there's very little the Chinese team can do. They have respawned their units here on E as well. They have gone back to heal up. Some of the units have died and respawned over here on E as well. So the Chinese team is going to try to take D back, trying to find a success. The same thing just on the other flank, as this is definitely not going through. The Russian team is like 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 players over here. That's probably 6 here. 1 player here on C, 1 player here on D. Well, 3 different players, but only 3 units. So it's like all over the place for the Russian team. But unit-wise, these are all the players over there anyway. Elephants actually already pushing towards E, looking to contest it as soon as B is captured or recaptured by the Russian team. So there we go. C is contested by the Chinese team. They do have 6 units in the area versus only 3 of that of Russian 4. Well, Russians have reinforcements incoming as well after getting B under the control. E, as is already said, rushed by the elephants. Can the Chinese team get D back? Let's see. Looking promising, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. Pikes incoming as well against that elephant. Well, that's really the only thing. Well, okay, the glaives are pretty good killing elephants as well. Sour glaives actually. So yeah, it's okay, but I think one you may have been a little bit better. But that doesn't really matter anyway. Spears over here flanked. It's a right flank somehow. But yeah, they're not going to round. We need to find the flank. Pikes are just chilling over here. Or they can just send all the infantry to flank and kill this. Oh, there we go. Maybe now they're doing that. And the pikes can finally walk in and kill the elephant, do what they are supposed to do. There we go. It definitely doesn't like being scratched by pikes. And elephant down. There we go. Took them a while. Well, they definitely do not have a lot of time to play around with. E has been flipped by the 2 elephants. Nothing really sent there by the Chinese team to prevent them from capturing the point in time. So all the points under control of Russia at the moment, but D is going to be recaptured. Chinese team already rushing to A, but as the Russian team is gaining a lot of points per second and they're only 300 points away from the victory. Yep, that is definitely going to go the way of the Russian team securing yet another victory, still staying undefeated in the tournament. But well, we still have one more battle to go for them against China, and then they're going to face Ukraine in the last round, also so far undefeated. So we may have a clash of undefeated teams at the very end of the group stage. We'll see about that. But yeah, Russia is taking its time to win. I mean, the points are taking their time to tick up, as D has been captured, C has been contested, A may be contested as well to slow the battle ever so slightly as well. Nope, not gonna happen. The Glaives are afraid of pikes, I guess kind of rightfully so, and the battle is over anyway. We're just saving the KDA Kappa. And there we go, the Russian team secures that victory, looking to stay in the first place alongside Ukraine. We'll see how the Ukraine deals with in the next match, but as I said, we still have one more battle to go. So, I'll see you there, and in the meantime, you can help bring Talabarian back to the West. You already know what to do. And until then, I'll see you on Arena's Battlefields, Commanders.